You know that saying, you feel like you woke up on the wrong side of the bed? That's how I feel today. It's been a while since I just felt so off. And it was so strange because Bambi looked at me and had this scared look on his face and he was frozen. And then when I moved a little bit, he went like this, like the Halloween cat. And then I would try to walk towards him, he would just sprint away, and it made me feel very like kind of like dissociated or out of my body. Like, what am I like, do I look different? I feel quite sleepy too, and it's weird. I slept 8 hours, but I feel so tired. I'm not gonna nap though, because that's just gonna mess me up more. So I'm just gonna get to what I'm gonna do, take it easy, be kind to myself. You don't recognize me anymore? Or he probably had a bad dream that I did something to punish him, and then when he woke up, he was still upset with me. Hole in my Windows screen that needs fixing, so occasionally a little bug would come through. Fortunately, I'm not afraid of ladybugs, so I'm gonna drop them off in the garden. Come on! Okay, that's good enough. Good enough for me. I wanted to do an update on how I've been, some things I've learned in the last month or so, and also talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is my therapy platform, BetterHelp. They're an online platform, so you can do video chat, phone call, or text. It's also easy and free to switch counselors if need be, which I actually had to do. I personally love that it's virtual because it makes it more flexible. You can do it from anywhere. There's no commute. When I'm traveling or when I'm in the car, I have done my therapy, and on the days where I just couldn't get out of bed for a while, literally had therapy on my phone in bed that day. And not to mention, it is more affordable than traditional therapy. There is financial aid available as well, so you can apply for it upon the sign-in process, and again, it's very hassle-free, so you can virtually get started within 48 hours. So if you're considering this, you can get started with 10% off your first month, and the link is below for you. Go to betterhelp.com/Annabelle. So in July, I was notified that my counselor couldn't get her New York license. I didn't know this prior to starting, but you can only get treated by someone who is licensed in the state that you live in. My counselor lived in the south of, I don't know, are you allowed to like say the state that they live in? You don't even know them. But okay, she lived in the Carolinas. It did feel like hitting a snag because suddenly this person I felt safe with, I trusted them, I worked with them for like 4 months, and all of a sudden out of my life. But there was a silver lining. So I went onto BetterHelp. There's a button that says switch counselors, and then right away a couple of pages of my matches, because when you first start the program, you answer questionnaires. All my forms are the same, so I didn't have to do it again. I went with one, kind of like gut feeling. I was a little bit nervous. I was like, my whole body was sweaty during our first meeting just because her demeanor is so different. And, you know, she's New York born and raised. Oh, no, I don't think she's New York born and raised, but still, like, New Yorkers have a different demeanor than someone from the Carolinas. When you start comparing, doubt starts to like arise, and then you can poke holes in anything. So I was trying to not see it that way as much as I can, and then by the end of the session I actually got to see and appreciate, and she brings some very different things to the table. So in hindsight, I don't want to say like, oh, even better, but I think in this phase of my life, since I already have been in therapy for months, I'm inevitably a different person than I was back in March. So she almost seems like what I need more at the moment. Recently, I've been doing well. It might seem like I'm up and down all the time and I'm moody. I don't know if moody is an accurate word because I think it has a very negative connotation, but it's like okay to have good days and bad days. Something that I heard in a podcast recently it really struck a chord. I have this obsession with consistency, and a lot of apps build in streaks to help you in being consistent with the habit. Maybe streaks are great for habit keeping, but honestly, the longer a streak goes on, the more anxiety inducing it is for me personally, the more pressure I feel. And it's almost counterintuitive when the streak is something to do with a self-care or self-love ritual, like doing yoga or stretching or meditating, because it's like the fact that I want to do it every day means I'm trying to upkeep this idealized version of myself, like me at my best, but like your best is always gonna look different. And dude, I literally just forgot the point I was originally trying to make. What was I even talking about? I've just been all over the place, okay? I remember what I was saying with the streak thing. Progress isn't linear, so just because I'm going to therapy doesn't mean I'm supposed to be like on an incline and feeling really, really happy. If I'm opening up old wounds and tearing open scars, how many analogies do I need? Unpacking baggage. You're bound to feel really nasty things, and like my deeply rooted insecurities of feeling worthless and needing others' validations, like that's still going to creep up. It's going to be up and down, but showing up for yourself and like even committing, telling yourself like I want to challenge this status quo, I want things to change, I want better for myself. That's amazing. You should be proud of yourself. For the longest time I thought that I was actually quite an openly vulnerable person. I realized I was actually still bottling a lot of things down and just shoving it all away for my own sake, but also the sake of keeping the peace and making others feel comfortable. Like I didn't, for example, want my dad to feel guilty if he knew that I was sad because of how ill he is. And that's just a fact of life, and I don't really know if me hiding it was actually doing anything. But what's better, I think, is one, like seeking help to handle and like cope with this. That's a part of life, and I'm allowed to take up space with this experience. And this is the first time that my parent has been terminally ill. I told him the last time I visited home that I hope he knows that I'm sad because I love him and I'm sad, but I'm not scared anymore. And I think there's a huge difference there. The sadness actually is finally pointing to a direction that like really reinforces the impact he's had on my life. And the reason why I'm sad is because he is so dear to me and a huge part of who I am today. So it's really beautiful, and I'm just going through a lot of growth, and look who decided to visit me. I think he's asking for dinner, honestly. But anyhow, I only have a few minutes left before I completely run out of space on my SD card. I don't see the sadness as weakness, and I literally did. And why I want to be able to share these things with you is because for the last few years I have felt very like closeted or like almost suffocated when I make my content, because I do want there to be an aspect of me being genuine and raw, but then I felt so afraid of the world that I was holding back. When I made YouTube, it's always a very anxiety inducing experience, and it's a very like rehearsed kind of like I was just suffering and I didn't really know what to do with myself. We're not alone in this, because I did feel embarrassed that I'm not perfect. I'm being more comfortable with like saying like, hey, yeah, like I need help. It requires you to trust others, and I'm becoming more trusting, and my heart is growing more open. So yeah, that's nice. I'm going to eat a late dinner tonight. By the way, I wanted to do like something more asymmetrical, but it kind of looks like I'm missing a whole chunk of hair, and I really don't like this bald spot up here because I did a French braid or a Dutch braid. So I took all of the hair over here, and then over here it's a different kind of parting. So because it's not balanced, it just looks like. I've been kind of sick of my hair and not sure how I like to style it. I do know that I want to grow it out, and this is the first time in my life that I have not layered my hair. I always thought I never had thick hair because ever since I was little, just very casually in conversation, my mom's always like, oh, your sister has thick hair, I have thick hair, you have really thin hair. I just forever, I guess, lusted after thick hair and just thought like, I want extensions. As you know, I've played with clip-in extensions before. I've always curled my hair in high school. I would not leave the house unless I was late without curling my hair to go to school, because I just, volume equaled confidence and self-worth for me. Until university, when I started growing up my hair because I dyed it so much that I didn't want to cut away the hundreds of dollars I spent on having colorful hair. And that's when I noticed, like, I do have thick hair. It took like 5 years for it to really come back. Like, all of the times when I was little that I would go to the barbers and my mom would tell them, yeah, thin it out and do this. So they just took away so much of the hair in between, and I just thought I had thin hair. I just have not been feeling myself at all. Like, I look at my hair and I'm always like, I don't really know what to do with it. And I just want to say, this is the first time I've ever worn different earrings. And why? Because I'm like a Libra, Virgo Libra, and in my head I'm like, everything has to be even, balanced. And now, like, okay, I'm over it. And so this week I need to clean up because my room is so messy. That too, I'm accepting myself, like, I am a messy person. I'm going to leave shit around until I know where I'm gonna put it. I'm not gonna hide stuff under the bed or in the closet. In this case, there is no closet because I live in a studio in Manhattan, and the closet is like this big. So there is nowhere to hide the mess. I don't enjoy messy rooms. I could live like that, but I tolerate it, by the way. So I'm gonna clean up because I do find it so pleasing. I love a good clear desk, and it doesn't come naturally to me. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Anyhow, I have to run errands. Today, I'm gonna go to the art studio after I do some work. I have to pet my children, give them kisses, make sure that they know they're valued. And then I have to go get food. I don't even know what I have in the fridge. It's like half an onion, 5 mushrooms, and that's all I have. So I need to go to Trader Joe's. Today is Friday, and that is when I do martial arts in the afternoons. You're probably wondering how that's going. It's going. I got my white belt. I still kind of have to remember how to tie it. Finally got the time to fix up this tie for William. I swear he gave this to me in springtime, and then I lost it in the house because that's how disorganized I was while I was settling in. And I finally found it, did a little bit of hand sewing. Now that is not hanging off anymore, and I thought, why not include a little bit of chocolates in this care package for him. I hope that it does not melt while it makes its way over. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I have been editing today and not trying to scratch my bug bites. Okay, I have one on my elbow when I was wearing long sleeves. How did they get it through the clothes? For dinner, I'm super lazy. I'm going to finally break open this sundubu. I was just confirming the measurements because they said to just boil this much water and put vegetables in, but that is so little water. What is that floating inside? Damn it. It's looking pretty good. added veggies and fake sausage. Oops. And I don't have spinach or something, so I use kale. It might be kind of strange. I'm experimenting to see if the Just Egg cooks like this in boiling liquid. I've never cooked it. I hope that it acts the same way as regular egg would. The answer is kind of. It floats at the top, but you can see it kind of got solid. I love me a good silken tofu. Wow. He had his mouth open for like a solid 10 seconds because he needed to yawn, and it looked like he was surprised. Oop, loaf. Loaf number 2. After running the machine for like so and so months, there's gonna be some like residue or like sediment or something, I don't know the right word, that's inside the piping. So basically like descaling everything. Okay. And then you run it through the machine once, and then after all of this water is out, you have to run the machine 3 more times with just hot water. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do with this extra water. I might just like use it to scrub the tub a little bit. So I always forget how to press the buttons and the functions on this machine, but good thing I keep on to my little manual. Ended up soaking pots and pans with my water because I forgot to wash this. It's not too hot these days, so I can